R&B music is one of the most popular genres ever. One of the great eras of R&B music is from the 90s. But when we talk about male R&B groups from the 90s, who's in your top 5? See, mine is this in no order. Jodeci, 112, Boyz II Men, Tone, and H-Town. Now, H-Town had the ladies going crazy over their love song. They was just raw and uncut. So today, I'm bringing you a story about a young man with a promising voice that was cut too soon. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. Born Kevin Connor on November 18, 1974 in Houston, Texas. Now, I know that there's reports that says Kevin and his brother Solomon are twins, but in reality, they're not. Solomon, he was born December 17, 1973, and this has been confirmed by the Texas state birth records. Now, the brothers, they would grow up in the Yellowstone neighborhood, which is one of Houston's notorious neighborhoods. Kevin and Solomon attended Jack Yates High School along with Daryl Jackson, who was a fellow classmate. Now, during this time, the trio, they knew of each other, but they didn't associate. And a fun fact about this high school. This is the same high school that was attended by Debbie Allen and Felicia Rashad, Roland Martin, and Booker T, to name a few. Kevin and Solomon's uncle was in a music group called Prodigy. They would travel around locally and open up for major groups like Cash Flow and Cameo. After seeing their uncle accomplish such a big thing, this would turn the boys to have more of an interest in music. One day, Kevin and Solomon would attend an audition that was organized by producer Phil Blackman. Now, Daryl, he was there too, but he was actually trying to get seen as a rapper. But Phil, he wasn't looking for no rapper. And since the trio, they already knew each other, they decided to join forces, calling themselves the Gents. They would also change their name. Now, Daryl, he would go by the name G.I., Solomon would go by the name Shazam, and Kevin will go by the name Dino. The fall of 1990, the group will record their first album called It's No Dream. This album had a song that went crazy locally titled A Time For Us. The album didn't do well commercially, but it was a locally. A few months later, the group will meet producer Bishop Stick Burrell. Now Burrell, he wanted to build a group around Dino after hearing them sing. And I can't say, this wasn't a bad idea. After Dino became lead singer, they had an opportunity to meet Patrick Johnson. Now, Patrick Johnson was a manager who just so happened to have a connection to 2 Live Crew frontman Luke Campbell. A meeting was set up for the group and they had sang for him. Was he impressed? Well, let's just say after the meeting 3 days later, the boys were signed to Luke Skywalker Records. Now, Luke Campbell, he had faced a lawsuit over his record company name, so he will rename the label Luke Records. First thing Luke did was change the group's name, as he thought that the Gents was lame. He would move the group to Miami and rename the group H-Town to represent the city that they're from. Luke, he would describe H-Town as the R&B version of 2 Live Crew. April 15, 1993, the group debut album was released, titled Fever for the Flavor. The album had reached number 16 on the Billboard 200 charts and number 1 on the Billboard Top R&B Album chart. This album had 3 hits, with Knockin' the Boots. This song had reached number 3 on Billboard Hot 100 charts, number 1 on the R&B charts, and number 14 on the US Dance charts. Lick You Up, this song had reached number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and number 21 on the Billboard R&B charts, along with Keepin' My Composure, that had reached number 46 on the Billboard R&B charts. Now, after their first album, H-Town, they began to gain a lot of attraction. In 1993, H-Town, they had signed on to participate in that year's Summerfest. This same Summerfest had other big musicians like Shy, SWV, Silk, and LL Cool J, to name a few. H-Town will also turn more heads by winning the 1994 Soul Train Awards for Best New Artist.
And the Soul Train Music Award goes to... Knockin' the Boots, H-Town. want to say this to y'all. Peace. Give me some good love.
That same year, they were partnering up with Devontae Swain from Jodeci. During that time when Jodeci was with Death Row Records. Now Devontae, he would produce a song for H-Town for the Above the Rim soundtrack. This song will be known as Part-Time Lover. The song will also reach numbers 9 on the Billboard R&B charts. Late 1993, H-Town began working on the group's second album. This album became the first album that was produced by Dino, making this his debut album as a producer. This just showed you that Dino was more than an artist. November 8th, 1994, their second album was released titled Beggin After Dark. This album reached number 98 on the Billboard Top 200 charts and number 21 on the Billboard Top R&B album charts. This album will also be the group's first album to sell over 500,000 records, going certified gold. This album will also be the start of H-Town working heavily with Dayton, Ohio's finest, Roger Troutman. This album will produce 2 hits with Backseat that reached number 58 on the Billboard R&B charts and Emotions that reached number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 11 on the Billboard R&B charts. And the fun fact about this song, H-Town, they basically predicted Dino's death. Now something that I always believe in is watch what you speak into the light, because God and Satan are always listening. After this album, Roger Troutman, he would pair the group up with one of his artists for a cover song by the Persuaders called A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, for the film with the same name that starred Martin Lawrence and Lynn Whitfield. This song would reach number 37 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts, and this song had become the group's first top 40 hit since Knockin' the Boots. The group were having some problems with their record label for some time now. All of their songs before was bangers, but it was one thing that was lacking: the respect towards women. As I stated earlier, Luke, he wanted to build H-Town up as an R&B version of 2 Live Crew. And we know how 2 Live Crew are.
It's a big story, man. You know, we gotta tell, you know.
All right, well, y'all, you can sit down. I just want everybody to see that. But okay, well, you got a new album out.
You're right.
Do you feel good about the album?
Oh, yes.
Is the album strong?
Oh, the album. This saying the album is strong. It's just saying that, you know, we not, you know, we feel, you know, that we're not getting the push that we need. You know what I'm saying?
From the record company.
We're not getting too much push. You know what I'm saying? We're not getting too much support. You know, we're not getting no promotion. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, and we're having a real serious problem. You know, it's a crisis right now. You know what I'm saying? And everybody think it's the group, you know, that the music ain't good, but it ain't us, you know what I'm saying? And it's just that we not getting the push that we need.
It's not being promoted to the people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They gotta
Why?
get the push.
That's something we really don't know. You know what I'm saying?
know.
We really don't know. You know, I just guess it's, you know, dealing with, you know, the business. I guess that's the only way we can explain it. But as far as the whole purpose is to let our fans know what's really going down.
But don't you're already not getting a push? Don't you think by coming out like this and making it so public, do you think that has a chance of backfiring and hurting you even
This is a
further?
stand that we had to take. You know what I'm saying? Because our fans know that we do good music, and they know that, you know, that we are a good group, you know, and that we can sing and everything. But you know, a lot of people tend to walk us up on the street and go, man, what's up, man, H-Town, man, y'all fell off this time, you know?
Yeah. And it's like, you know, we feel we locked down. This is how we feel right now.
Right.
We feel like we should just be convicts in jail, we locked down.
Call us locked down.
And the people that we dealing with that's behind us, they not behind us. They trying, you know, destroy our careers, you know, hold us down.
Sometime in late 1997, H-Town, they would part ways with Luke Records and signed to Relativity Records. They would get to work on the group's third album, and this album was entirely produced by Dino. This album would be called Ladies Edition. The group, they would take a different approach, and they would mix hip-hop and R&B together to create slow jams that was more of a respectful tone towards women. This album would reach number 53 on the Billboard Top 200 charts and number 12 on the Billboard Top R&B chart. This album will also bring us one hit with They Like It Slow. Now this song will reach number 35 on the Billboard Hot 100 charts and number 12 on the Billboard R&B chart. January 28, 2003, after leaving the recording studio, Dino, he would get picked up by his pregnant fiancée. A SUV would hit the couple after failing to stop at a red light. Now his fiancée will pass on the scene, and Dino, he would pass on the way to the hospital. He was only 28 years old. The group, they was in the middle of making their fourth album, and on September 27th, 2004, H-Town's 4th album will be released called Imitations of Life. At the time of his death, Dino, he was working on his debut solo album. Between 2015 and 2016, 4 songs from his album was released, called Prune Juice, You're My Morning Star, Love Hurts Bad, and Hot Jeans. Now, as I was doing my research for this video, I came to realize that Dino had a daughter that was born in 1996. She's a singer as well, Kaja Rose. Well, her stepfather is Joe Rogan, who has been dating her mother since 2001, and the two will get married in 2009, where he will also legally adopt Kaja. Crazy, right? Dino was a voice of H-Town, and he was preparing to make a mark of his own. His voice had helped H-Town sell over 4 million copies, and Dino's career was cut too short before it could really take off. Seriously, out of all male R&B groups of the 90s, H-Town is by far top 10. Hell, out of all lead singers from the 90s, Dino, he's top 5. It's time for us to give Dino his flowers. Hell, some of us are here because of him.